Hello guys, we are back with our next lecture. In this series, we are going to start the next subject, database management system, guys. Okay, so this is one of the core subject for computer science, right? Yes, and even in GATE, we are having the same weightage pattern. So here also we are going to get 5 to 6 questions, and the mark weightage will be 7 to 8. This is on average, guys. Okay, yes. So the syllabus for this particular subject is this is the syllabus, guys. So the first topic which we'll be discussing is we will start with the transactions and concurrency control, guys. So once this transaction topic is done, then we will continue with ER model, then relational model, then integrity constraint, then normal forms, then indexing and file organization, B trees and B plus trees. Then we'll be moving on to the relational algebra, SQL and triple calculus. So in this way we are going to complete the syllabus, guys. Okay, so this subject is mostly problematics, we can say. Basically they will be giving some statements, we need to analyze it. So in that way, like SQL or any kind of B tree, or they will give an ER diagram and they will say the relation. So what type of relation are there, what is the cardinality, and when it comes to transactions also, it's a type of numerical topic, right? Yes. Okay, so most of the time you can expect some easy questions and tough questions from this particular subject, guys. Okay, yes. So if you are searching for standard books, Korth or Navate, so any one of these book will be the best one for you guys, right? Yes, and these are the popular books even for your semester examinations. If you check your book or in your library, you will be finding these books, right? Yes. Okay, so first of all, let us understand what is a DBMS, guys, and why do we study this database management system or DBMS. Okay, so first of all, let us divide it into words. So database management system. So what is a data, first of all? Okay, so data is nothing but collection of something, right? So it is some kind of information, you can say, but you cannot say information also, because information definition is different from data, right? Yes. So data is nothing but a collection of some observations, you can say. So basically assume that you are standing near a traffic light and you are noting down the data, like this vehicle, like this many trucks went in 1 hour, this many cars went in this much time. So in that way you are collecting some data. So that is what we will call it as a data, guys. Okay, so it is some kind of observation which you are writing down, that's it. You are just blindly writing down whatever you are saying, that's it. You are not taking any kind of considerations and all those things. So that is nothing but data, guys. Okay, so data are the characteristics, usually numericals, that are collected through observation. So whatever we are observing, we will be noting them down and will be collecting them. So that in turn is called as a data. So data are a set of values of a quantitative or qualitative variables. Okay, so any fact and figure about an entity is called as a data, and datum is a plural, guys. Okay, sorry, data is a plural and singular for this data is a datum. Okay, yes. So basically whenever you are collecting something, so like you are collecting it blindly for no particular reason, so that is nothing but data. When it comes to information, if you take important things from this data, so assume that you want to do a project on data analysis of some kind of a traffic, assume in that way. I don't know why I got this traffic now, but let us assume in that way. Okay, yes. So you stood at a signal and you started counting how many cars are going, how many bikes are going, how much pollution is happening, like that. You are counting some parameters, assume in that way. Okay, yes. Or you are checking how many vehicles are using diesel or petrol. In that way you are collecting some data, and based on your project, from that whole data set you will require only few things, right? Yes. So that is nothing but information, guys. Or you refine some unwanted things from that data, so the modified new thing is nothing but information. So in simple words, what I am trying to say is the valuable information from data is nothing but information, guys. Got it? Yes. So now let us go through database. So now we are done with the data now. So now database, the first two words, right? Yes. So what is a database, guys? So in simple words, a table representation. So basically if you store some data in terms of a table representation or in any kind of structural way, you're storing it in a neat way. So that is nothing but a database, guys. Like in an organized way, that's what the word they use. So database is an organized collection of data generally stored and accessed electronically in the form of a computer. So you might store in Excel sheet, or you might store in an SQL database or somewhere, right? Yes. So that is nothing but the database. Okay, yes. Okay, so now let us go through the main word, that is a database management system. So what are we trying to manage here? So we are trying to manage this database. So what is a database? It is nothing but collection of some data. So what do you want to manage here? So assume that now you want to get some data from that particular database. So from that database, if you want to retrieve some data or you want to update some data, you want to modify some data, so in that particular column some particular data you want to modify it, or some particular row, some particular column you want to get that data, for some data you want to delete it. So these kind of operations are done on this database. So this all operations, if you are able to do, so that is nothing but the database management system. Got it? Yes. So a collection of programs using which we can access the data, manipulate the data, retrieve the data, or do any kind of operations on that particular data is nothing but database management system, guys. Okay. Yes. So now I hope everyone got at least some basic idea with respect to this subject, right? So the main reason why we study this subject, and this is the core subject of computer science, is because of this reason only. So whenever we want to store any data in our system, most of the time we are going to use this databases only in the backend. So even if you build a website, so in the backend, the data, username, password, any kind of personal information, everything will be stored in terms of databases only, guys. In simple words, most of the people will be saying it as in tables, right? Yes. In table, there will be a column like name, roll number. So in that way, the data is stored. So this is nothing but database, guys, right? Yes. Because the reason why we will be calling it as database is because we can retrieve the data from it and we can do any kind of operations, right? Yes. Okay. So now few students will be like, okay, so is there any other way of storage, like, or is this a database is only the best one? So there is one more type of storage, that is nothing but file system, guys. So in simple words, the best example which I always give is, so assume that you want to store some data of your students of your college or something. Okay, so at that time you opened a notepad, guys, and your friend opened an Excel sheet. So he is filling the data in the Excel sheet in terms of rows and columns, whereas you are writing the data in a notepad in terms of sentences or in terms of words. Okay, you are writing line by line. Okay, yes. So in these two, which is best, guys? I think most of you have at least used Excel sheet and all those things at least once, right? So try writing a 2D data in 1D format, guys. So this is indirectly 1D, right? Yes. So at that time it's really tough, right? Yes. So that is the reason why we use databases mostly. And the reason why these database or table structure is really popular is because there are various faults or disadvantages with respect to traditional file system. So the major problem is so data redundancy and inconsistency, guys. Okay. So the thing is, so assume that you are maintaining an Excel sheet for, assume that your whole college you are maintaining a single Excel sheet. Okay, and this is the exact notepad which you are maintaining for branches. So branch 1 you are maintaining this Excel sheet, this notepad. For branch 2 you are maintaining other notepad. So basically this is notepad 1, notepad 2. So in that way, in different notepads you are storing their particular details, because if you try to store in one only, it will be really complex, right? Yes. So that is the reason why you are separately storing them. So at this time there is a high chance that there could be some duplicate data, right? Yes, and you cannot find them easily, right? Yes, so that is a disadvantage. And similarly, inconsistency. So when it comes to these type of files, here we are storing it in multiple files. So at that time, assume that some HOD has been changed. Okay, and assume that he is the HOD of 3 departments, and you updated in 2 files and you did not update in the 3rd department. So assume that he is the HOD. It's a funny thing, but he is the HOD of CSC, mechanical and civil. So you updated in CSC and mechanical, but you forgot to update in civil. So here indirectly that particular thing is something like inconsistency, right? So inconsistency is nothing but different values, guys. So basically here I value is a 10, here also I is 10. It's okay, but here I value is a 10, here the I value is 11. So how is this possible? So that is nothing but inconsistency. Okay, similarly, assume that you want to access some data. So if it is an Excel sheet or a database, you can easily access it, right? Yes, but when it comes to files, it will be a bit tough, because you need to check that all the parameters, and you should check, right? Yes. Similarly, data isolation. Okay, so in simple words, data isolation is a term which most of the students will always confuse, guys. So the thing with respect to this isolation is nothing but, so okay, I don't want to raise this topic, but as per our understanding, I'll be explaining you. So basically, okay, so let me think of some other example, because that example will not be that much good, right? Yes. Okay, so data isolation. So data isolation in simple words is, so a particular piece of data should assume or should know that, like in its own perspective, it should think that it is the only thing in its whole storage, guys. So assume that you are storing a huge database. So in that there is some data in that particular database. So assume it as a person's data. So for that person, it should look like he is isolated. So indirectly there is no others in the whole database. In that way you should think. So that is nothing but data isolation. So this is really tough when it comes to file system, guys. I'll be explaining you in our future lectures about this in detail, guys. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, similarly, data integrity problem. Okay, so in simple words, data integrity is nothing but so assume that you want to enter some data into a database. So at that time you can keep some conditions, right? So if a particular user's salary is greater than this much, only then I will give him something like that. Or if a particular user's salary is less than something, so at that time I will give him a loan. So in that way, so those type of constraints are really easy to establish on database, guys. But when it comes to files, traditional file storage, it's really tough, right? Yes. Similarly, atomicity problem and concurrency access issue. So basically, if two or more users wants to access the same file, it will be really a huge issue. But when it comes to database, it will be really easy to access it, guys. Okay, yes. So these are some problems, and these problems are all will be solved using databases, guys. So that is the reason why databases are most widely used nowadays, right? Yes. Okay. So now shall we continue with this view and the concept of instance schema and database administrator, or shall I stop here? Okay, so let me stop here for now. So in the next lecture, we'll be discussing about view, instance, schema, and we'll be discussing what are the roles of this database administrator, guys. Okay, yes. So now I hope everyone got some basic idea with respect to this database management system, right? Yes. Okay, so don't get scared with these terminology, guys, because by the end of the subject, you will get more clarity on all this terminology, because these are the exact concepts which we'll be discussing in our upcoming lectures, guys. We'll be discussing about atomicity, we'll be discussing about isolation. These properties are of transactions, right? Yes, we'll be discussing about data redundancy and inconsistency, about accessing like SQL, those all things, and similarly concurrent access and integrity problems. So everything we'll be discussing, so don't worry with respect to this terminology, guys. Okay, yes. So in the next lecture, let us discuss about this view of a database, and we'll be discussing about the instance schema and what are the roles of database management, database administrator. Okay, yes. So let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more awesome videos like this. Thank you.